Good day, one and all. Jeremy England coming to you again. Another TC video today with our specialty pistol. And this is kind of a part two, if you will. If you've watched my other videos, you saw part one of the 6.5 TCU Bullberry barrel. And I had talked about getting it ready to go out west Ernie Bishop's place come June for a steel and prairie dog shoot. And I talked about adding a muzzle brake to the barrel. As you see today, we've got a 3-port brake that's been added to this barrel, and it was done by our good friend Chris Rhodes at Bayside Gunworks. Chris did an awesome job fitting the brake as far as the threading and the timing of the brake, and I couldn't be happier. Chris, exceptional machinist, very talented gunsmith, and we can't thank him enough for this. While Chris had the barrel in the shop, he also went ahead and polished and blued the barrel up for us. And once we got it back, we got everything ready to bring out here to the range. And the reason we added a brake was a twofold deal, and that was to, number one, be able to run a rifle style scope on it, and later on put it to a BATF minimum of 16 plus inches for use as a carbine, as I talked about using this for my kids here in the near future to set up for them for a whitetail hunt. But nonetheless, we went ahead and we added a Redfield Revenge 6x18 adjustable objective varmint scope with the varmint reticle, and this scope features a finger adjustable turret that's resettable back to 0. We shimmed and bedded a base that we had on hand to get our elevation out, and to allow some more elevation for longer shots, and so far so good. The brake has really tamed this little 6.5 down, and I couldn't be happier. Still does have a little bit of bounce. It's not one you're going to get full eye relief with, but you can really get up on the scope to get in on your target, and the 6x18 is wonderful on it. As with before, we're using our standard 123 grain Hornady AMAX bullet over Winchester 748 powder on Remington brass with Winchester small rifle primers, and it's still shooting just as good today as it did before. And we wanted to get some video footage to show you the difference today with the rifle scope and the brake installed versus what we were shooting before. In our first video with this 6.5, we were shooting a 2-to-6 Simmons Pro Hunter scope, old Hunter scope. We switched back and forth on barrels, it's never let us down. And today we come out to give it a try with the rifle scope and the brake installed by Chris, and to see how she was going to do on paper, and more to show you how effective these little brakes are in taming these cartridges down. The 6.5 is not a terrible cartridge as far as recoil is concerned, but it will make it that much easier to shoot with rifle glass, and it'll make it that much easier on my kids when I get them out in the woods to get them to hunt. But that's pretty much it for now. We're doing all our shooting again off our handy dandy little Nicolay wedge bag. We're shooting out of the chronograph these loads. These loads are pushing 2,265 feet per second on average, and for a 123 grain bullet, we're tickled to death with that. I've not run the numbers yet, plugged it into my ballistics app to see how it's going to do at longer ranges, but we're going to give her a try to see how she does later on when I get a chance to sit down and play with that. But nonetheless, we're going to get to shooting for you and show you what these little things are capable of doing with a rifle scope and a good brake on them. Here we are fixing to put a couple of rounds down range. Again, the 123 Hornady AMAX over Winchester 748 powder with Remington brass, Winchester small rifle primer. I got my hat a little bit that time. But we'll take that on target. It's like a ragged hole at 100, ladies and gentlemen. We're just a smidge high. We've limited out our elevation on the scope, and we're going to have to redo our shim a little bit. We've got just a little bit too much of a canter scope base. We're going to have to redo it a little bit, but I'll show you the target here in a minute. Just wonderful little 3-shot groups, just tiny little bug holes through this thing. We're tickled to death with it. And as you've seen, the brake really tames this little cartridge down. You can see it got the bill of my cap there at one time. I wouldn't want to, get right up on it for full field of view. So it probably dot your eye, but nonetheless, it shoots great. It's more than manageable, and I'm really looking forward to plugging the numbers in and seeing how we're going to be able to do out at longer ranges. But if you'll stand by here in just a minute, we'll bring a target down here for you, and we'll let you get a good look at it, and you can be the judge for yourself how this little thing's worked out. Like I said, I couldn't be happier with Chris's work. The way this thing's shooting, shot good before, shoots even better now with the brake, and that's a testament to Chris's abilities as a gunsmith. Look no further, guys, if you're wanting someone to do some work for you, whether it be on a specialty pistol, revolver, semi-automatic, what have you. Chris is your guy. Look him up at www.baysidecustomgunworks.com. Super guy to deal with. He goes by Chris Rhodes on our Handgun Hunting and Specialty Pistol Shooters group on Facebook, and he goes by Hoggin on SP forums. Super guy to do business with. Good friend, and can't say enough about him. We're going to quit jaw jacking, and we're going to go down here and get this target and let you take a look at it. Stand by. And we're back. We went down range. We've got our target that we shot with the 6.5. Again, I couldn't be happier with the results. I had to place an aiming dot on the target that was below the bullseye, because when I shimmed this base, bedded in, we got a little too much forward cant built into it, and we've limited out our scope as far as downward elevation travel. That's something that I was just experimenting with to see how it was going to do. I've done it on rifles before. A little bit different take on handguns when you do it. But at any rate, we used a lower aiming dot, which was about 4 inches lower than the bullseye, and we used that to get her groups. But as you can see right here, ladies and gentlemen, let me get it centered up there for you. That's 3 shots at 100 through the 6.5, and this was done, as you saw on video, after Chris installed the braking with the Redfield Revenge rifle scope, just like we see pictured here today. And hey, again, another custom barrel that's printing little bitty tiny groups at 100. We couldn't be happier with that. It's not bad for an old knuckle dragger with a fat kid shooting it. And I'm really looking forward to taking this thing out west to Ernie's and turning it loose on some prairie dogs and even some steel. Again, I've got to do a little bit of work on the base. We just went ahead and used this base to see how much it was going to give us. And there'll be another base added to this one if I don't reshim and rebed this one. I haven't made my mind up yet. I've still got some time to play with it before going out to Ernie's here in June. But we've got our load down, as you've seen. I'll have to throw the micrometer on that load. But as you can see, it's a ragged, pretty much just one ragged hole at 100. Before, it was shooting pretty much the same with this rifle scope on it. It's actually tightened it up a little bit more, and the brake really, as you've seen, it really tames the cartridge down. Instead of it coming up now, it's just kind of a straight push back. One round caught the bill of my ball cap, got a little too close. If I'd had my ball cap up a little bit, it'd have probably missed me, but still nonetheless, I'm shooting with about 50% field of view, and getting accuracy like that at 100, we'll take that all day long. But that's it for part 2 of the 6.5 TCU after Chris worked his magic on it. Again, Chris, can't thank you enough. Wonderful job from Bayside Custom Gunworks as far as threading, timing, and fitting a brake to this little old barrel, and It's going to be a great barrel to take out west with me, and it's going to be a great barrel for my kids. It's going to be an absolute whitetail thumper, I've got a feeling. But nonetheless, thank you for taking the time again to watch one of my videos. If you like what you see, please subscribe. You know, there'll be more to come in the future. And above all, get out and support the men and women in our legislature and the Senate and the House that's fighting for our Second Amendment rights. These guys and gals need all the support we can give them, because they're doing everything they can to ensure that our rights stay intact. And if you've not done so already, please become a member of the NRA. The NRA supports anything to do with the Second Amendment. And without them lobbying in Washington for us, without our congressmen and women, legislators from the state level up, we couldn't do what we want to do today, especially with the way things are today. Last and not least, I want to thank each and every man and woman serving in our United States Armed Forces. My hat's off to you as a veteran. Thank you for your service. Until next time, for our next video, again, thank you for joining us, but until next time, take care and God bless.